Good idea. We have a few more minutes.
So we should keep talking?
No, you can be quiet, just in case that was a silence at anticipation of starting. But you're welcome to be silent. I'm gonna say, it looks very beautiful in there. I covet your bathroom.
Yes, that would be good.
It's all good.
They said we did. They have a dance class. I don't know, just for years. What's it called? It's at the city hall. Yeah, yeah, it's a long time ago. The literature. When they
It's 2 to 7. And I didn't take attendance. So I think we should just wait till 7, just in case. See? Hi. I'd like to welcome all of you and all the people who are coming live streamed from various parts of the country, actually. So we are a hybrid performance. Just a little housekeeping, first of all. Yeah, okay. Do that back there because we're trying to work sound, so I actually can't tell how the sound is translating and how much I need to put out without getting feedback. Okay. Bathrooms are straight down the hall to your left. There's one bathroom there, but I hope you won't need it during the performance.
There is another bathroom.
I'm Doug. This is our house. There's another bathroom right at the top of the stairs if you go up. So if the first one is occupied, you can go upstairs.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Take this moment to shut your cell phones off or any other devices that might make noise or surprise us or beep. I'd like to thank Doug and Elizabeth, who house this is, for offering their beautiful house to host this performance. We're very grateful. And I would like to just honor Jyoti Kessler and the wonderful spiritual energy that she imbued in this place during her lifetime. She's very present here. And I would like to thank you all for coming and welcome you, and just let yourself, I don't know, whatever you need to do to just really show up and be here. I am a music thanatologist. Thanatos is the ancient Greek god of death. It said he's the god of a good death. Thanatology is the modern study of death and dying. So simply put, if you put the word music in front of thanatology, you get the practice of music and end-of-life care. We use harp, we use our singing voice to address issues that people at the end of life face: physical, emotional, psychological, psychosocial, spiritual. In other words, we attend to the pain of the whole person, the whole person. It's what the founder of our modern hospice movement coined as total pain. Her name was Dame Cicely Saunders. It's a good name to have in your mouth. Music thanatologists call patient visits vigils. The dying process itself is called transitus, from the Latin meaning passage or crossing. We use music prescriptively. What is this? What could that mean? We self-prescribe music all the time, don't we? We put on music to dance. We use it to soothe ourselves when we're feeling overwrought. A mother may sing her baby to sleep. We sing together in joy and in sorrow. I can express my heart through music, my longing. Music can open a window to what is deep and sacred and wordless. Music has helped me find my grief. Music has helped me express my rage. The music we choose for each circumstance matters, doesn't it? You will see in some of my stories that musical elements are being called upon in nuanced ways to work with things like anxiety, insomnia, respiratory issues, high blood pressure, spiritual angst. The important word here is nuanced. We unfold a fluid musical offering moment by moment as we intimately journey alongside patients. Now the important word I want you to know is intimacy. I need to get close. I need to empty myself of myself. I need to watch. I need to listen. I need to breathe with. And then, within this, I can begin to offer music that is really with the person, really in concert with them. Music thanatology doesn't fix things, like taking an aspirin for a headache. And maybe that's a gigantic myth in healthcare anyway, that anyone can fix things. We address things. We try to relieve suffering, and sometimes we can. We want to enhance wholeness, healing, connection, restoration of soul, and if possible, help to create an environment to support a kinder death. And though the use of prescriptive music is at the core, at the foundation, we cannot reduce the practice to a musical, biomedical equation of cause and effect. The heart of music thanatology rests in silence. We begin there. It rests in soul and in the sacred inherent in each of us. And it seeks a healing and offering a felt remembrance of home, of love, of grace, of an ultimate safety in what lies beyond words. One patient who was an author said after his first vigil, with no measure of surprise, "I have no words, and I am a word person." With some measure of surprise. He was surprised. I visited him many times up to his death, and each time I witnessed him giving over more and more to a kind of medicine. It was what he called boundaryless beauty. Boundaryless beauty. Our work is not religious. It recognizes that the dying process itself is a mysterious, sacred moment in our personal biography, and it's our birthright. It has nothing to do with religion per se. This performance is the telling of selected patient encounters and a few non-patient stories as written in my journals while I was working in the Pacific Northwest as a full-time music thanatologist. I worked in a very large hospital for 2 years during the pandemic. 4 days a week, I was all over the hospital, 11 floors, multiple buildings. On the 5th day, I drove across 3 or 4 counties to visit hospice patients in their homes. I was considered an essential worker during the pandemic. That was amazing. That was intense. And I was well regarded and well resourced as a member of the palliative care team, and that was satisfying. I met all manner of patient need in my workplace, all kinds of illnesses, chronic and terminal, catastrophic medical events, family distress, people actively dying. There were extubations, organ harvesting, honor walks, grieving loved ones, angry loved ones, in-room baptisms, even an impromptu wedding on a unit for a daughter whose father was dying. I played for hospice patients and isolated COVID patients. Hazmat suits were common. And I played harp regularly for stressed out staff who implored me to sit right among them in their nursing station. All the names are changed of my stories and almost all the details so to blur any possible identifying features. The essentials remain unchanged. My husband, Carrie, makes a cameo. He died November 23, 2023, after living for 5 years with multiple myeloma. The area in which I worked had a large Christian population, but we don't play Christian music per se, and especially we don't play hymns, except sometimes I do. Don't tell. We do lean into where meaning might be held for a patient, and that may mirror a faith tradition. And though I never say never, in general, we don't play familiar or preferential music. Sometimes a certain favorite music will help ground someone or bring comfort. That can be very helpful. It can be especially helpful in cases of dementia. But really, we are trying to help people let go. And in this way, familiar music may not support someone's dying process. Some education goes into working with both medical staff and families sometimes. I was asked to visit a patient on the 8th floor one day. A beautiful palliative care RN eagerly said to me, hoping it would be helpful, her sons say she likes the band, the Eagles. I went to visit the patient, and I found her 2 adult sons sitting on the radiator by the window. And after a gracious exchange of hellos, I said, I hear your mom likes the Eagles. They were like little puppies. Can you play any? I looked over at their mom. She was unresponsive and in some respiratory distress. I asked them, do you really think she would like that right now? They didn't need to answer. They understood immediately. The music we love when we are well is not the music that will always serve us when we are compromised, when we are frail, when we are struggling, when we are dying. It may, in fact, be irrelevant. And it may be painful to a sensitive nervous system, someone in a liminal state, someone in the process of their transitus. I express my gratitude to all my patients and their loved ones for allowing me to be in the inner sacred circle of their dying process. I express my gratitude to my teachers, especially Anthony Damiani, who essentially brought me to experience the silence that is alive underneath music, and to teach me how soul speaks deeply and ineffably through music. To the founder of the field of music thanatology, Therese Schroeder-Schrecker. Gratitude to dear friends who constantly encourage me. I acknowledge the indigenous people who for centuries lived and stewarded the land I live on, the Cayuga Finger Lakes land. These are the Cayuga people whose tribal name is Gayukahono. I express my gratitude and I apologize for wrongdoing past and present. Thank you for making an appearance in one story. And lastly, to my beloved Carrie, who unfailingly and with heart listened to me every day from the other side of the country talk through my ups and downs. Gracias. Can you hear me okay? Okay. I begin not with a patient story, but another kind of hospital encounter. I want to set the tone here of the presence and voice of harp. Here's a journal entry, August 5th, 2021. About 2 weeks ago, I got an email from my hospice. Someone wanted a harpist, but not hospice related. I called the number, and a lady answered the phone. I don't need a harpist. I just need to touch a harp. She thought to touch a harp would be healing for her, and when I heard the weariness in her voice, I didn't have much doubt. And I figured out in not so many words that she may be living in the margins, and I wanted to help her. It seemed easy enough on the one hand, but on the other hand, we were in COVID lockdown. You couldn't just walk into the hospital. Security was really high. But I worked it out. We could meet outside the hospital. It was August. I called her back, her voicemail picked up. Here she said, I'm climbing the walls with my cats. We'll call you when we come back down. She called back and we made a time to meet. It was this morning. I wheeled out my big, beautiful harp and I sat on a bench just outside the hospital. There was a woman reading there and we struck up a conversation. It's quite easy to strike up a conversation when you have a harp. It's kind of like when you have a dog. People are pretty friendly. So I'm talking to this other lady who turns out to be an orchestral violinist of all things. And then here comes this woman. I'll call her Gloria. She came over and I said, here, touch, please, here's my harp. She touches it, she's very tentative. She plays a few strings. I asked her if she wants to sit down and play it, and I sat her there on the bench. I leaned the harp against her chest, and she started to touch the harp, really touch it, like caress it, feel the satiny wood, and feel the curvature of it. Just she, like this. And she was visibly moved and touching it like it was holy, like it was a holy, sacred thing. And I thought, we forget what's holy. She's remembering. But there was a wound there where somehow to have this contact was administering to her, and she touched the harp over and tenderly and with such reverence, and it was clear it was meeting her. Whatever she had hoped for, she was being met. I asked her if she wanted me to play for her, and she said yes. And we offered her a seat next to us on the bench. But instead, she sat in front of us, cross-legged, on the hard, cold, concrete sidewalk, as if that's where she belonged. And I played a suite of Celtic airs full of mysterious longing. And she wept. She wept and she wept. And then she apologized for weeping. And I thought, this world is so harsh. Whatever it is, cry. Just cry. And she said, it's so beautiful, as if she were in a desert and it was water, and she never thought she would drink again. July 29th, 2021. The waters of Puget Sound are ever-changing. They move with the tides of the ocean, and I follow these changes regularly as I drive along the water shores to visit patients on either side of the sound. Today it's low tide, an endless expanse of mud. It looks dystopic, but it's interesting and strangely beautiful. And I feel protected by the long lines of evergreens that stand sentry along the highways. They gift me their silence. I'm always in need of this, going to patient homes or leaving patient homes. Now I am here, a small, modest house. I pull out my harp from the back of my trusty little Kia. I let my shoulders take the weight as I carry it up the now familiar wheelchair ramp. I'm warmly welcomed inside by the family, and I'm led to the back of the house, and here is my patient, Ginny. She's in bed. Ginny, mother, grandmother, great-grandmother. And I didn't catch myself, I forgot. We think we will always be the same with each other. At least we will always be alive with each other. The teaching of working with the dying presses up against my forgetting. In an instant, I knew she had made changes. Jeannie has cancer all over her body. Last time she was sitting up in bed, still animated with life force. Now she rests with eyes closed. She's not moving. Her son says, Jayne is here. She opens her eyes a little bit. She sees my harp and she brings her hands up playfully like this. Her son says he hasn't seen her move or show any motion for an entire week. So here it is, joyfulness. And here is this woman, bald, her head on a satin pillow, the color of a clear blue open sky. She's breathing 8 per minute about, and I begin an Irish lullaby. It's in F major. The melody unfolds itself around her deep respirations, and an image appears spontaneously in my mind's eye like a cone or a shell around her, protecting her. And the melody travels up the octave, offering scope, a lifting up, and a tenderness of a lullaby for her body that is under assault. And for her son, sitting there, I feel his love so palpably. Ginny is very religious. There are religious artifacts all over. And I begin to weave them into another melody in the same key. It's a resting song in its simplicity. 4 notes rising up and falling back down again. Like breathing. And I offer these words. Blessed are the gentle, they are the children of God. But as I'm singing, I have this kind of uncomfortable feeling. It doesn't seem like it's a fit for her. In this work, we are asked to identify why we make a musical decision. Not to say something like, it just felt right. But it didn't feel right. I'm on my own. That's enough for me. I begin to shift to a very old hymn. It's in both Latin and Gaelic, and it's minor sounding. This is minor. And it's a petition. It's asking for help. Deus meus, it begins, my God. Ginny is withdrawn into herself now. Can I catch the presence of her interiority, the gravitas of her son sitting silently at the foot of the bed? But as I take a breath to sing Deus meus, I am surprised when instead out comes a different hymn. I heard the voice of Jesus say. How did this happen? They're both in minor mode, we could say. They're both Irish melodies in 3/4 time. But perhaps Ginny doesn't need a petition. She needs rest. She's tired of the long journey of her illness. And I follow through and I sing. I heard the voice of Jesus say, come unto me and rest. Lay down your weary head, lay down your head upon my breast. And then I play a little bit more. I circle back around to the beginning and I sing, I came to Jesus. And at this, Ginny's hands float above her and fold themselves in prayer. And then she brings them back down, she lays them on her chest. And so I keep singing, following her, and I turn around to see her son weeping. And then the question arises, as it often does, should I do more? And I decide not to dilute this moment with more music. There often seems to be a tipping point when music serves, when it no longer serves. But I want to offer a blessing to Jenny to frame this time for her. And I sing. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you. And when I sing, make his face shine upon you again, her hands come up above her in prayer, and then she slowly folds them down to rest on her chest like a bird lifting off in flight, but then floating back down to the nest of her heart. Ginny has had cancer 3 times. She told me she just could not go through chemo one more time. Now the cancer has metastasized everywhere. She's so very peaceful now. Her breathing has become more shallow, the gentlest of waves lapping on the shore. And just a little bit slower, a little bit more pronounced apnea, more space between her breaths. So she's doing this work, you know, the mysterious work of dying. We will all do it. She goes before us. She goes before her children. We will all learn of it. Every person who dies is a hero. Every person who goes through this dying is a hero. April 3rd, 2021. Dear Anne falls asleep in her wheelchair as her parents and 2 sons look on. She asks for Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah before her sleep. It gives her a sense of home. Home gives her a sense of peace. The night Anne died in her trailer with so little support from her family, as I cleared off her bed of what seemed like a lifetime of hoarding, and I lifted her heavy endemic legs onto the bed, she said to me, "I feel so broken." I play a Catholic hymn she loves. It's called You Are Near. And I sing Hallelujah before I transition to unfamiliar lullabies of a loving maternal support. Anne is the dowsing rod to my water. When I feel dry, water is found somehow. A voice I didn't know I had, saturated in love and sweetness, floats in the air. Hallelujah. She falls asleep, and I stay for a long time. After many months of traveling with Anne, this is the last visit. March 1st, 2022. The patient chart said no religion identified. The daughter said she's Jewish, but it's not important to her. She's not practicing. And then she's a Holocaust survivor. Why did the air in the room change so instantly for me? Can I say it became more rarefied? And this is a gift, because this reality of the Holocaust instantly dissolved what was not necessary except being here with this mother and this daughter. And honestly, sometimes it takes me more minutes of intention to shed the world of commerce and activity as I cross the threshold into a patient's room. And this is the practice, to shed as much as possible. I have often thought, soon this generation will be gone. Who will pass down the stories? Who will tell us firsthand what happened so that we can continue to bear witness, to remember? My own mother would be 100 today. She was in Germany until she was 12. She passed down her stories to me about Hitler coming to power, going to rallies, having to listen to his speeches on the radio and report the next day in school, or risk her family disappearing. She carried the shame and guilt of her people. She was angry. She felt this deeply and her entire life. Now I can sit with this mother and daughter. Now I can bear witness, silently, musically. I begin to follow the patient's breathing as if it were my own, and to listen to the wordless story in her breath. What could this mean? What wordless stories are being revealed in her breath? Listen. I hear a very shallow breath, an uneven breath, and I feel a person who is unresponsive yet aware of us. And there are little signs like the lifting of an eyebrow as her daughter and I are talking beside her. And the moment feels very full with details I can't know. The answers to any questions I might have fall inside the silence, fall into silence, fall inside the music. This is the answer without answering anything. I begin playing my harp slowly and gently. When I had thought of the music I could offer, nothing in my toolbox of repertoire wanted to be played. It's almost as if they resisted to come out of their houses. Their doors were shut. Gregorian chant, for example, just because of the fluid, efficacious melodies that can fold into so many symptoms. Lullabies in their bright, warming musical modes that bring warmth and brightness of day. No. Something more undercover. Just like her story was undercover in this moment, in the shade of an unspoken history. I began cautiously with Hebraic-sounding melodic motifs, small musical intervals in cool minor modes, following the ebb and flow of her breathing. I was cautious because I couldn't know if this familiar Hebraic sound might touch any pain for her. We don't do anything to elicit or evoke or provoke. We only mirror what's naturally there. But she continued to rest quite peaceably, and I continued to deepen the musical delivery. Intervals then became wider for a more full musical offering, more musical presence. And her respiration began to even out, to become more regular. It was at this point I was surprised. Her arms lifted, and with eyes closed, she began to gesture. And then she began to speak. I couldn't understand what she was saying, but her daughter understood and translated to me as if it were a foreign language. She says, "It's wonderful." She says, "It's beautiful." She said, "I will not forget this." Thanksgiving Day 2021. My first patient today, her mother and her sister are at her bedside. They call her Nana. As I am playing, the steady rhythm of the heart monitor begins to count down. Then there's that long sustained tone of no heartbeat, and then the suspended moment until her mother cries out, "She is at peace. I am not." She's pounding her chest. "She is at peace. I am not." Such raw grief. Yet they thank me. "Thank you, harp lady. It's so beautiful." And I realize, though I am calm, still, I seem to have a ballast in the storm. I am absorbing stress with each patient visit. After Nana, I go a few doors down to Mike, a de-isolated COVID patient, early 70s, heavily sedated, intubated, eyes open and staring, the look of being stunned. He's breathing heavily. Initially it was 30, but blessedly down to 20 after some playing for him. The family spent every moment with him during the limited visiting hours. And he's vaccinated and has his booster, yet here he is with COVID hanging on by a thread. I'm tired today. Tired. But still, I enter the vigil, the intimacy with his breath, a benign presence. Understand a sense of love in sound like a cool washcloth, each note offering this, a holding together by something invisible that feels like love. Later, his wife hugs me through our gowns. He has contact precautions, so we have gowns on. The hug feels like a kind of medicine that we both appreciate, though it's not advised. I go to my office to chart. I see room 205 asks for music. Another door down from Mike. Triple bypass surgery, just yesterday. Though to see him, he looks as if he has had an entire week of recovery. And he tells me, while under or asleep, he's not sure which or when, his brother and a friend visited. They are both dead. His brother said, "You will be all right. You won't have any pain, and you'll be out of the hospital in 3 days." And here he was, no pain, ready to transfer out. He also told me his cat visited him. The cat was in a cage, and he said to the cat, "How did you get in here?" The cat said, "I drove your van." And he said, "But you don't have a license." And then he asked after his dead mother. His brother said, "She is making everyone Thanksgiving dinner." And now the patient was crying. And I just played some of those Celtic airs you heard earlier, that 4-chord pulling out the heart-longing and far-away sound. Then another patient, a few doors down, 205, down from 205, brain surgery. Staples like train tracks all along the side of his head. He's frightened and he's alone. I play lullabies for him. What could feel more musically safe? I leave him resting, and then I go back to my office and have a meltdown. But not before Twinkle Twinkle came over the loudspeaker. Someone will remember their baby born this Thanksgiving Day, 2021. Another will remember their daughter, their sister, died this Thanksgiving Day, 2021. October 13th, 2020. Our hospital is huge, and it has a sprawling ER to match. To enter it is like entering one of those Bosch paintings of the hell realms. Rooms are overflowing with patients. Hallways are double-lined with hospital beds, and there are patients bleeding and moaning and crying. Some are staring blankly. Someone may be vomiting. The clinical staff are hurrying and crisscrossing, and we're in COVID, coughing and sneezing. When I first got my job at the hospital, I was asked to play ambient music wherever I thought it might be helpful. So I went to the ER, of course. I was kicked out. Swiftly. I was too big. I was in the way. Just get out, okay? So I stayed away. But today a referral came in for a man in the ER. Nothing was apparently working, and he was in acute respiratory distress. Of course I would go. But how daunting. The pressure. And I knew what they were expecting. Music to soothe the savage beast. And I knew there were no other options left except me, the clinician they had kicked out. Sure enough, as I rolled to his ER room, I found a large, barrel-chested man absolutely heaving in distress. He was gasping and lifting himself up on each inhale and collapsing back down on the exhale, and a look of sheer panic on his face, something like, and I can assure you it was worse than what I can demonstrate. I let him know I was there with my harp, no expectation for response. I set up to play, and I began rocking harmonies back and forth, trying to mirror his agitation, rising up, down again, heaving, falling, rocking harmonies over and over. Something like this. Is that right to me? This is a C sharp, okay. Sometimes I would insert a little suggestion of rest. Pick it back up again. I often think this work with patients is a lot like my work conducting my choir. Except here, the patient is the conductor. I am following them, their movement patterns, their body language, their breathing, their facial expressions, just like my singers are following me. But like in all true music making, after a while, we are all moving together. The music has a life of its own, and we are all participating, our very bodies following together this unfolding. The music is alive, and we are all carried by it. It's a co-creation. Now I feel a pace of this co-creation slowing down. The chant I am using begins to resume its actual shape and sound like itself. After 45 minutes, the sound of his labor and heaving gives way to just a heavy breathing. And then the heaviness evaporates into a regular shallow breath. And finally, I hear the sound of a gentle respiration, and I look to see the patient depleted but sleeping soundly. I was so grateful. There is no guarantee. I was exhausted. When I came out of the ER room, the ER clinicians were simply elated he was asleep. And I left the door open to his room, and the sound of the harp had traveled into the ER. Clinicians came up to me. The sound of the harp had spoken to their stress, had given some respite they desperately needed. After that, carte blanche. I was welcome anytime. The education is in the experience. Many people think what we do here with the harp is just pretty music, decorative filler to help patients pass the time, just a little bit better than they would if it were without. Who needs that? Patients are in distress. Patients have real issues. Don't we need real medicine for this healing? August 4th, 2021. Today, I come to see Rosie at one of our SNFs. SNF, Skilled Nursing Facility. Our agency actually uses the word sniff in clinical meetings, as in the patient is in such and such SNF on the west side. Could we not come up with a more honoring acronym for our elders? But I'm here to see Rose. Rose has advanced Alzheimer's. Rose is Catholic. I find her alone in the hallway and she's calling out, "Johnny, Johnny, let's go. What about your leg, Johnny?" There's no logic to Alzheimer's. But the words are not for nothing. They are not nonsense. Before the harp, before introducing sound, I wonder what ghost is here so relentlessly for Rose. She calls out again, "Johnny, Johnny, let's go." I'm thinking about my home now, our beautiful Cayuga Lake, the lake of the Gayokohono people. I'm on the Ithaca tour boat. I'm a tour guide. If we look south off the stern, we can see the terminal moraine. The glacier stopped here 20,000 years ago, pushing up, gouge out earth, leaving a high ridge. The ridge is a watershed. Rainwater flows north down the ridge, running in rivers across the land, collecting sediment as it goes. Imagine rocks and granite, limestone, shells, things that haven't decomposed or can't dissolve. Calcium, bones, teeth, arrowheads. The rainwater hits the large body of Cayuga Lake, the lake of the Gayokohono people, and the sediment drops right there, makes a big sandbar, and boats cannot pass through. They get stuck, and a lot of damage is caused. Is this what happened for Rose? Calcified knots and confusions, things that happened or didn't happen, relationships, the things that went wrong, the bones and teeth of unfinished moments collecting along the way of her days, dropping at the threshold. Maybe I'll be there someday, on a sandbar, grinding my motor. I can't pass through. I'm thinking of my beloved Carrie at the end of his life, and I hear myself, "Carrie, oh my God, you are going to fall. Your cane." My reverie is broken. Rose yells out, "Johnny, Johnny, let's go. Your leg, Johnny." I ask her, where do you want to go? I don't know anywhere, Johnny. But now, there's a parade of wheelchairs moving directly towards us down the hallway. A woman saddles up to Rosie, wheelchair to wheelchair. She's pissed off. And she yells at Rose in her brilliant Alzheimer's language. Don't tell me where to go. I'm standing here. I'm standing where the fish were born, and I was born where the fish were born, and you can't stop it. Rose yells back in her equally brilliant Alzheimer's language. Get out of my shoes. The floor is turning. It's not yours. It's mine. It's turning. My shoes are here. They have an argument back and forth. They're each reliving an old buried story, trying to resolve it, using each other. They are each stuck on their own sandbar, reaching out to the other if that person were the breakwater, the thing that could free them. Cayuga Lake, the lake of the Gayukahono people, has two breakwaters at its mouth. The breakwater keeps the water moving into the deep part of the lake where the depths can accommodate the sediment. The deep, dark waters can take the heavy sediment unconditionally, like a mother. I pray a hymn to the Virgin Mary for Catholic Rose. I think we are not far from Rose. We think we are. But how hard to connect, to reach another person. Family, friends, lovers, our children, the cashier, the sediment. Do you not feel its continual presence? I think again to a moment with Carrie just before a fall in the street, and I'm yelling, Carrie, you forgot your cane. He yells back, Janie, stop. I can't stop. He can't stop. We are on a sandbar. I'm alone with Rose now. Rose is not consolable, and I do spoken and sung prayers, reaching down into her Catholic self. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. All those words and melodies are right there for her. She holds my hand. She's gripping tight. She sings with me. We are making eye contact. Are you tired? Yes. Would you like to nap? Yes. Can we wait for Johnny later? Yes. I am remembering another moment with Carrie. At the nth hour, I hear my weary voice. Carrie, I'm just afraid. Something yields. The moment becomes soft and still. A breakwater. We are ferried through the eye of a needle into deep, plentiful waters. Our tattered hearts resting for a while. Me, Carrie, his cane, the black, hard pavement, his bruised face, his depleted morale, my fear and heartbreak, everything. January 5th, 2022. The long walk to the CCU, or the critical care unit, it's lonely. A narrow hallway with no windows. It curves around and around again. And doors open as if by magic as I approach, as if there's someone there seeing me approach. I use my badge to scan open the final door, the fourth one. I feel privileged. I am allowed entry. All those places where entry had been barred in my past, those moments are like little photo negatives stored in my psyche, and they travel along with me. All the times when I had to stand on the other side of a door, or when I did have the key, a little childlike gleam of feeling special. Such a simple and powerful thing, going through a doorway. So defining sometimes. I have taken this week to imagining Ramana, a long-gone Indian saint I am moved by. I imagine him walking slowly alongside me as I go to play harp for some broken person in a hospital bed. One day, His Holiness the Dalai Lama walked along with me. I had to slow down as I imagined his slow shuffle and his robe gathered up in his arm. I feel not enough. I feel the poverty of my own spirit these days, and the level of suffering is immense. And so I bring Ramana, his brown eyes of love looking out into the room, holding us all, the efficient tender RN, the husband weeping at the bedside, the patient covered in tubes, me, my harp. I can't say that there are angels anywhere as they are written about in stories, or as artists paint them, or artists sculpt them. Consider. The hospital itself may be a vast angel, a manifestation of the thought to help, to do good, to heal. The RN replenishing the morphine drip, an angel. The harp may be an angel, invented and evolved over thousands of years just for this moment. This moment may be an angel. All of these angels populating our loneliness. And I am trying to give over because I feel there is simply nothing I can do. Sometimes someone's suffering is relieved, and it feels like a huge blessing and a gift. Other days, the suffering continues into the mystery of it all, and I am left with a simple presence. A few beautiful notes I manage to offer into the space, and a bald kind of faith that beauty matters and it doesn't owe us anything back. I wheel my harp back through the long, winding hallway, my harp like a broken off wing. It glides across the linoleum floor through those magic doors. 4, 3, 2. I find I'm walking alone. Have I left Ramana in the CCU? But then I can remember. I can always remember what he said as he was dying of cancer. You say I am going away, but where can I go? I am always here. January 4th, 2021. Elizabeth, yesterday, in her 70s, unresponsive, laying flat on her back, tongue cancer. Scar, almost like a dimple, but long, from her lower lip disappearing under her chin, clefting her lower jaw. Perfect, beautiful porcelain skin and a plain, wide face like someone from the Midwest. Her breath is shallow. I can barely trace it. A large family around her, surrounding her. The room is small. The circle around her is forcing the space, is forcing the circle. But it's not really, it's not, because there's a connective tissue. The family is not disparate. They are unified in her dying. They are open and connected. It is this vigil that I feel the music doesn't just soften the clinical environment, doesn't just palliate the space. As I begin to play to the inside of an almost invisible breath, the fragility of the hold on this life to the next, I see one son listening with his eyes closed. He's big and burly. He's in a police uniform. He's in a police uniform, and yet he seems defenseless. He's leaning. He's listening in. And I feel the space is transformed into something sacred. Everyone yielding to what seems sacred in this dying and in this love. Maybe more than anything, the hospital room has the potential to be transformed. What holy and mysterious journeying is birthed in these rooms. This is my epilogue. In July 2022, I returned to Ithaca and to Carrie, whose stable multiple myeloma began to advance. About a year later, he decided he had had enough. He went off treatment and onto hospice. He died 4 months later. The following is a journal entry about a month after he died. December 28th, 2023. The 4th week anniversary of Carrie's last breath. The one I missed. The one I waited for, as if that mattered. A turn of my head, words that could have been spoken at any other time to my social worker. I wanted to be angry at him for the distraction. I wanted to be angry at my family because how often did I put them before Carrie, even now, worrying about them to my social worker. I wanted to be mad at myself for any buffoonery at Carrie's bedside, singing things that were pulled from the sky of spiritual platitudes. I should have known better. But I didn't. Maybe my singing was for me, to give me breath, to give me my body that had been suspended there with Carrie for days. Ave verum corpus, hail true body, hail your precious body, dear one. And I know everything is wiped away, made clean. We did good. We danced through this time, didn't we? You apologized. You thanked me. I apologized. I thanked you for loving me so much. And you simply said, "It's my pleasure." It's been an honor to share my story with you and patient stories with you. I deeply appreciate it. Be careful driving home. You can take your time leaving. And talk to each other, or you want to debrief a little bit. We're not used to having so many stories about the flood. You can get a little, I don't know, ungrounded.